Hello, we're Legends on Paper, an eclectic group of longtime gamers with a passion for Dungeons & Dragons. We're not voice actors, professional gamers, or paid performers. We're regular people, just like you, except that we'll probably make complete fools of ourselves along the way as we attempt to have fun and entertain. If you enjoyed tonight's production, please follow us on Twitter and subscribe to our channels on Twitch and YouTube. And most importantly, don't forget to tell all your friends. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey as Legends on Paper presents the greatest adventure.
Just yesterday, we came across the grisly scene of an overturned cart, which was apparently ambushed by an evil and vile creature, a troll of all things. I had only read about them as a child, and to see one up close was quite exhilarating. I hope to recount the experience with Tom one day. We chased it into the woods, where we were finally able to destroy the thing. As it turns out, you can only kill the brutes by burning them with fire. They appear to have regenerative properties that seem to only be staunched by flame. Very curious and fascinating. Still, another unnatural remnant of the Tuatha De's abominations. Good riddance, I say. As I now recall, several times the troll referred to Merlin, I believe. Sure, I have heard the name a time or two, but I thought he was just a myth. Although the traveling bard Wodenaz claims to be his brother, and he is certainly real enough. Could this Merlin then be real as well? If he is, why would the troll seek him out as he did? Thinking he could have been one of us. Strange indeed. And what was a troll doing along the King's Road anyways? I might expect such a creature within the wilds, but so far west into Lioness cannot be normal. I would have preferred to make certain there were no others nearby, but I would like to get this business with the fat man over with as soon as possible. I will let someone of authority know to send a ranger or two in search for more when we arrive at the next town. I must remember them to tell them about the fire. Speaking of my current predicament, the wrinkled old woman tagging along apparently has qualms with each of us, aside from Jolo, who she seems to be smitten with, even though he is clearly young enough to be her great-great-great-great-grandson. Better he than I, though, that is for sure. She made her disdain for the group clear by berating the lot of us, aside from Nimalea. That was quite unexpected, and her assumptions were highly inaccurate. She referred to me as the leader for starters. Why would she call me the leader when I never offered to put on such a mantle? I certainly do not want the responsibility of these people's well-being placed on my shoulders. And why does she care where I sleep? Is it not common logic that one has a better vantage point higher up than on the ground? After so many years at sea, stationed in the crow nest, I feel much more comfortable and confident keeping watch at such an altitude. I think I should know how to perform my own profession better than she. Not to mention, I much prefer the quiet solitude up here to the constant verbal diarrhea that spews from the priest. He claims to follow Suna, but seems to worship himself more than any goddess. I wonder how she approves of such a charlatan follower claiming to spread her influence. The pink rose did give me a chuckle, though. He looks absolutely ridiculous. She did have a point in her observations about the humans, though. My father always told me to never trust their kind, as their ambition and spontaneity always seems to outweigh their good sense. They are a fickle and capricious race, and the two with us are certainly not contesting the stereotype. And there is something off about Styx. He seems less than honest and honorable. I should keep an eye on him. I've also noticed his aversion to the town of Yorwick a few times, and I wonder why he seems reluctant to head there. Maybe we will find out. The only experience I have had with the Tuatha Dé was my good mate Delbaith. I do miss him and his whimsical disposition. I would much prefer to have him, or any of the crew for that matter, here with me now instead of this lot. Nimalea Tathalon has been a good companion, however. Though we got off to a rocky start at the tourney, being pitted against one another and then with her going through my personal belongings, she has proven herself in her actions since. That said, I am extremely relieved that she did not find the stone while rifling through my things. Or if she did not take it, and has not mentioned it. I believe she may be the only suitable ally among them, but I really should expect no less from a Sylvan compatriot. After the encounter with the troll, we happened upon an amiable Hofflin along the road, who was also traveling in our same direction. He asked to join us on our way to Yorwick, and I must admit the little man is more enjoyable to be around than most those I've been in company with lately. Their kind is a remarkable race, to be certain. I have not had many encounters with Hofflin before, and I'm glad to share the road with this one. Among his many stories and jests, he made mention of a giant Chelonian inhabiting Lougreely, which is apparently devouring the fishermen and unfortunate townsfolk in his hometown of Argyllshire. As soon as this business in the Dormonts is finished, I may plan on heading there to see this beast for myself. A creature such as this would stand no chance against us at sea on Pontus Revenge, but here, now, I will need to be more resourceful. No. I need to get back to home and to Captain Axidor and let him know that I did not abandon them. I need to speak to someone I can trust about what happened in Linpool. That has to be my priority once this business with the fat man is over and the threat of death is annulled. I came to Lion's Gate seeking answers and passage home, but now seem to only have more questions and am forced to travel even farther from home. And the demons that appeared in Lion's Gate and abducted the queen. What on Plethwy was that? I have heard rumors of the demons appearing these last years while traveling between ports, but I never thought I would see one up close. Whatever they were about, I certainly hope that Prince Artur and King Eldorath are able to retrieve the queen. She was a rare beauty indeed. That blonde hair reminded me of Tea Cirilla, and I do miss her. All the more reason to get back home to Atlantis. Until then, we shall see what tomorrow brings.
All right, thank you, Nihilus, for that memorable intro. And as we get started with session number 6 this evening, we find our players have awoken to a new day with their friend, Hemi, the Hofflin. A little bit inebriated, as he had a pretty long evening with Jolo and mostly with Jolo the night before. And he wakes up not in quite the sunny disposition that you enjoyed the night before, but seemingly ready to get underway as soon as the rest of the group is. And that's where we pick up this morning still on the North Road to Yorwick, anticipating that by mid-afternoon you should be finally at the crossroads leading to Remy or Yorwick, at which point the group will have to make a decision which way they're going to go. In any case, we get underway this evening with a new day in Yorwick. All ready to go, I suppose. Are you feeling all right there, Jolo?
No. You would think I would have a sunny disposition given my religious preferences, but
Well,
how many of you are there?
well, I can say the same for you. You know,
Oh, there's only one of me. You know that.
well, the way I'm feeling though, I'm seeing at least 2.5. But in any case, I'm ready to go when you are. My cart's all set. The horse has been brushed down and fed and watered. We can get underway as soon as you all are ready.
Just a little quieter.
Ready.
Gotcha! What are you guys going to do?
Should probably head forth.
Sounds like a plan.
It's the crossroads.
Exit stage left.
All right, so now let's go ahead and roll a D30.
Well, that's a big one.
I got a 16 right in the middle.
Okay. Let's see how the weather is going to turn out today.
Yeah, I hadn't mentioned it. I keep thinking it would be pretty common for Nihilus to check his weather cantrip either in the evening or the morning just to see what lies ahead of them.
And as long as you say it, I will let you know what it is.
Maybe it will snow.
So,
Nihilus is going to cast Druidcraft and check the weather for the day ahead of us.
okay. All right. Well, just so even before you cast that, as you wake up in the morning, you find that today is looking at a lot of storm clouds. A lot of clouds have gathered over the evening, and it's feeling a little bit chilly. Right now, it's approximately in the low mid 30s, perhaps. You're feeling a little bit of the misty effect of rain, anticipation of rain, as it's just that kind of wet feeling around that almost tingles on your skin, as icy chill as the mist is at the moment. Casting your cantrip, roll another d30. Because that projects out to 24 hours, if I remember correct. Okay.
Yes, sir, it does. And I just rolled a 29 this time.
Okay. All right, so you're feeling that throughout the day, heavy moisture on your skin, the droplets heavy and fast, the chill of the temperature dropping a bit before evening when it seems to stabilize and the heavy rainfall turns to more of a light drizzle. And by the next morning, you're expecting that it will be clear once more, although still chilly even for the summertime considering how far north you are. And it's gotten a little bit colder the further north that you've gone in the days that you've traveled from Lionsgate. So it's not surprising to you. Many of you have been this way before. So you kind of anticipate that weather conditions can become a little bit more iffy the further north you travel. But in any case, you're looking at some rain this afternoon for sure, and it's going to be a cold rain before nightfall. How would you like to proceed?
Maybe Suna's hiding her face because you were so shameful last night with your drinking. She doesn't want to look at you.
I was giving a toast. It was.
I don't
gave
know
many
if she'd
toasts.
agree with me. Sorry, Nim. Yay, Neve!
I don't remember you cooking any toast at all. I remember the drinking a bit too much of my good old ale. Get in the way then?
I kind of feel bad for the troll at this point. I never realized what those loud bells would sound like in someone's head.
Oh, Nihilus, I want to talk to you about that troll.
The one that I destroyed,
Yes, that one.
single-handedly.
You're much taller than the rest of us. I want you to be on the lookout. I had an idea last night. By the way, Jolo, do you notice any smell different?
All I smell is sandalwood. I don't know.
I was thinking about something last night, Nihilus. But I don't want to tell everybody else, so I'll wait. Never mind.
So there is the prevalent fragrance of perfume that is lingering this morning as Hildy makes her way near you, Jolo. That wasn't there the night before. Nim, how would you describe the scent, since it was your perfume that you had passed along to Hildy the night before?
It's light and fruity.
Light and fruit, perfect.
Hildy makes sure to ride up front by Nihilus so the scent drifts behind her to Jolo.
I'm downwind.
Lynn's going to be at least 60 feet behind everybody.
All right.
So basically, all of my senses are being assaulted right now. This is not a good day for Jolo.
So as you get underway, over the next 3 or 4 hours of travel, the weather is worsening. The clouds, the thunder rolling in, the rain becoming heavier and heavier. Not a whole lot of wind at this point, but Nihilus, you really didn't. You don't anticipate a lot of wind, so there at least is that grace that perhaps you won't have to deal with that. But the heavy rainfall is making the areas on the side of the road very, very muddy, and as you continue on toward the north, you start to pass, coming the opposite direction, a few of the locals, and they seem to be, moving slow, and they're appearing very wet. Their carts are wet. Their clothing, they look, more like farmers, not so much like tradesfolk or merchants, human. And as they're passing, considering the heavy rain that's falling, they just kind of bundled up, moving their carts along slowly, just kind of nod politely as they pass. Are there any interactions that you want to take with each other or anybody passing by over the next 2 or 3 hours of travel up the road toward Yorwick?
We don't pass any temple guards, right?
No, you haven't passed any temple guards, and you haven't passed another patrol as of this morning.
The closer we get to Yorwick, the more uncomfortable you're going to see Styx being, and he is going to be really hunched under his hood, really quiet, and not really saying much.
Okay. All right. Anything else during this time period?
This water striking Hildy, it's diminishing this fruity.
Not in the least.
No.
No. Now you were dressed in the clothing that you found from the wrecked cart, correct? Gilliam's cart.
I was.
Did you change your clothes? Or are you still wearing your?
No, we voted that I should never be unclothed. Last episode.
Okay.
I don't think that's the vote we took.
Well, it was even between you and Nim, and as usual, Styx remained silent on the matter. But I think we all know what he was thinking.
All right, so you're still wearing the pink clothing. That you
No,
originally-
actually, it was pink with black in it.
True, with the kind
from
of a
the
black.
troll. Yeah.
Yes, accent. All right, so it's to the rest of you that are downwind of Jolo and Hildy, this fruity mix of just pungent scent that is still being produced by his clothing, Jolo's clothing, is quite off-putting, to say the least.
So when you call it noteworthy, I would like to point out that Hildy was well in front of me because I was supposed to be downwind from that. Mm-hmm. So it's not like their powers are combining.
Oh, they are.
Oh.
Very much so. Yeah, you get that fruity
Somehow
scent.
I'm going upstream. And she's
No. It's all anybody south of you
and
guys.
Then you join.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
It's like this perfect storm of sweet and pungent that.
Sultry, I
They
think
call
is the
that
term he used.
umami.
Yeah, so mostly Nim is probably having to deal with this, and maybe Styx. So
Are the fellow travelers, is that why they're all bundled up and it's not really the rain?
the rain as well, but they certainly get the impression of something awful stinks from either Hammy's cart or from one of you as they pass and get a little bit further downwind from you.
Yeah, I'll just kind of point at the cart and say, what are you going to do? From there.
I'm going to take some wax from my candles and stick them on my nose.
Okay.
I'm assuming Hildy said she was riding next to Nihilus up front.
She wanted to be,
okay.
yes, up front. And Hammy's kind of in the middle, unless, with Nim well in the back.
Oh, with Jolo.
Hildy, he'll look over and speak with her after they've been on the road for a bit.
Yeah.
Couldn't help but overhear as you yelled at Jolo about smelling so awful that it attracted the troll, and I'm wondering if you might want to take a bit of your own advice and, just down the bank there to the right, there's the Thayer River. You might want to bathe yourself. There are lots of dangerous herbivores around here that might find that floral scent very appealing and delicious.
Like the bees?
Bees and
Jolo's not
probably
afraid of bees.
far more dangerous creatures than that.
Oh.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that smell, actually. Jolo's smell, not my smell. I smell like perfume. My breath still smells fresh, too.
But we can certainly smell it from probably miles away. If the wind is right, I would assume that creatures far and wide would
It's
pick up your
probably
scent pretty
very
quickly.
expensive.
Well, just thought I'd point that out and see if you might want to take a bit of sage advice from a Tuatha Dé.
I rarely take my own advice, since I give much better advice than I take.
Well, that remains to be seen. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I'm older than I look, Nihilus. And I had a bad dream. My sister, Merlin. The troll was calling Merlin. And I believe Merlin killed my sister. So, maybe the troll wasn't smelling Jolo. Maybe he smelled me, because I might be as old as Merlin. Or Merlin might be as old as me. I'm not sure. But one of us is old.
I think Merlin's just a myth.
You hutch up! Back there! Hide your face! There's people coming!
Yeah, what leads you to believe that Merlin is anything more than just a myth? That's all I've ever understood of him.
Well, I had a bad dream.
Okay. Does that happen often, where your
No.
bad dreams come to life?
Now it does. No. Sometimes.
I feel like this last week has been a bad dream for me.
Oh, no, this past week has been amazing. We got to meet Jolo. Hi, Jolo!
What some call dreams, others might see in their nightmares.
This is something to think about. I want you to watch out for trolls. He might not be chasing Jolo. He might be chasing me. And if there's another one, I don't want to get bitten and have my face look like Styx's.
We'll see.
Thank you.
May I ask how old you actually are?
I'm not sure. I don't remember my birthday. But I remember when there were buildings over there. She'll point in the general direction of some wilderness.
What happened to those buildings? I'm not from these
Time,
parts.
I imagine.
Interesting. I've heard Tuatha Dé can grow quite old, but I was not sure that it would be something nearly that long.
I don't remember. I was a little girl then.
Well, interesting story.
Thank you. Oh, we should tell Hammy to add it to his stories. They weren't very good. They were all about a turtle. But don't tell him I said that. He's very proud of his
I found
stories.
those much more interesting than old ruins.
When they weren't ruins, they were interesting.
Guess we'll have to take your word for that.
He'll just ride on.
All right. So as you travel further north, again, passing a few people along the way, going the opposite direction. Hello?
So I'm just waving to
No,
my
gotcha.
followers.
And even through the storm, just again being polite and nodding or waving back to you, although certainly not attempting to engage in any sort of conversation. About just a little bit after what you would presume is noon, given your travel time, you finally come to the crossroad that Hammy promised you would be there. And just as he described, you see a marker pointing toward the west and a marker pointing toward the north. The north one with the sign with the name Yorwick pointing north, and Remy to the west. And Henry slows down and stops his cart. Well, I've enjoyed traveling with you, friends. Will you be continuing north with me on to Yorwick, or taking that shortcut of yours through Remy?
Well,
Yes. We're heading to Remy, right?
Yeah, we're heading north. Yeah, gotta head north.
you want to head north?
West.
I thought we were going over to the Dormonts.
Are you saying you want to go
West
to
of
Remy
Remy's
or
north
to the
is,
Dorm to York?
Yorwick.
Wait,
I believe that Remy would be to the northwest, or we'd continue on to the northeast, but as Hammy here said that it would be quicker to head through Remy, I'm all for taking the most expeditious route there.
That's what I thought too.
There'll be opportunities for adventure and wonder, and as I'm sure my drinking buddy knows, I'm very selfless, and I understand what's happening, people. And Styx doesn't seem to want to go to Yorwick for some reason, so let's do what we can for the man.
He's not going to come with us, I don't think. Are you, Hammy?
No, I'm going off to the north to Yorwick. I've got supplies to buy before I continue along the northern road up to Linpool, where I'll catch a ship that'll take me down to Argyle within a few days. But most certainly, I'm sure you all will manage to get there long before I do.
Hammy, you mentioned it would be worth having a friend in Argyllshire if we made it that way. Is there any advice you can give us once we make it there, if we arrive before you do?
Well, let it be known that you're there to take care of the turtle problem, and you'll get a lot of attention. No doubt you can also mention my name, and there'll be a few there that you'll be most appreciative of our association. So, and then after I arrive, hopefully the whole situation will be taken care of, you'll have been rewarded, and we'll be friends again.
And you had mentioned the name to seek out Rollo at the Dancing Boar Tavern in Remy, is that correct?
That's right. Rollo's a good man. He's a bit stuffy, but he won't lead you wrong. He'll lead you right. He'll tell you who to talk to and what you might find around the village there. If you have any uncertainties, he'll tell you like it is.
Hammy, are you planning to meet up with Cudgel at all in Yorwick?
No, that's not my line of business. I explained. Tabitha and Gillum, they're the ones that pursue that sort of work. I'm just going through to buy some supplies on my way back to Argyllshire. My time there will be brief, a day or two at the most, and then off to Linpool, where I'll find a ship that'll take me down back home. One large enough that can take my cart, but I've been known to sell it too and buy a new one. So we'll see how it works out.
Where is home for you, Hammy?
Argyllshire, where have you been?
She's not listening
I
very
don't as
well.
well.
She was busy.
Staring in my direction, perhaps.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
sure my
There you
wife
have
would be happy to receive you at our home if you arrive there and need a place to stay, or some of you are far too big to stay in my home, as big as it is. But she'll certainly offer you at least a meal or two to keep your bellies full before you go off and fight that turtle, of course.
That's very kind, Hammy.
Do you think it's a
Yeah,
very
thank
big
you, Hammy. Thank you
I'm
for
just going to
your
bend down
advice.
and hi, goodbye.
if you do run into the cudgel and he says he's looking for someone, hand him this message. The dog skirts the fire and hides in the dark. Don't seek him further. or faces bite and faces bark.
That's a curious message. I don't plan on being in the vicinity of the cudgel. I don't even know what he looks like. Just know the name, Gillum. Again, he was pretty drunk. He and Tabitha both when they told me about their business. They tried to get me involved with it. They thought that having a contact in Argyllshire would be beneficial to their cause, whatever that might be. I assured them that I wasn't the man for the job. But if I do happen across anyone who mentions that they happen to be the cudgel, I'll be sure to try and pass that along. And he repeats it back to you, and it's a little bit off, but vaguely what you told him. And he kind of looks at you questioningly, like, do you want to say it again, or do you want to, if he needs to. He's not taking it very seriously, but he's giving you the idea that he wants to be, he wants to do what he can to help.
All right, then I'll just, ride past him, head in the other direction, and I'll be checking my purse and everything to make sure he didn't take anything.
Okay, all right.
Did the cudgel still stick this dog?
Wouldn't you ask Styx that?
I think
He
Styx
just
is the
rode up.
dog.
You guys do know that in
That's
his
right.
leather armor, there is a dog emblem
Oh,
running through flames.
yes, we know.
We've been looking at it for the last week.
Well, Remy, if you do run into Cudgel, I know you say you won't, but you can tell him that Nim says hi. He doesn't know me, but he will.
I'll definitely remember that. I'm not sure how easy a message to pass along, but I'll do my utmost best, actually, to avoid contact with such a person. I wouldn't want my reputation to be sullied,
Curtis.
It's been fun, friends, and I really want us to be friends, so remember that. And when we arrive in Argyllshire and we meet again, that we're friends, don't forget. And he starts to move slowly along the northern path toward Yorwick.
I feel like we should have given a message to the cudgel as well. Is it too late?
He's right over there, dear. He's not going
Maybe my
very
turtle
fast.
joke is kind of apropos.
No,
No?
no.
Okay. Never mind.
At this point, it's getting into the afternoon, and based on how he described the distance from where you are now to Remy, you anticipate less than a half a day, that you should be there prior to nightfall. Yorwick, of course, is still another full day away to the north. So there's a little bit of different distance between the two. In any case, at this point, the rain has started to calm a little bit, and you note that the sky is not so much clearing, but just kind of becoming that gray haze that just goes from horizon to horizon with just the faint blip of the sun that's overhead, but now off toward the west a good bit. So,
He may
anything before
move
you head out?
faster without Hammy in his cart now.
You can if you like. You're dealing with wet roads, but the roads are constructed very well, and they're designed to drain off the water, so it shouldn't hamper you.
Let's make haste. Let's get to Remy before the weather turns or becomes nightfall.
Okay. So traveling along, as you make your way west, over the winding pathway, it's not quite as wide as the road to Yorwick. It's still paved with stone and mortar that looks like it's kept in fairly good repair, but not nearly as wide. It's a little bit more narrow, and not having the sidebars, the side areas where you could easily camp. The forest encroaches a little bit closer and closer onto close to the road, but there are areas that look like they've been carved out or naturally cleared that you could stop and camp if you chose to at some point. But with Remy presumably so close, that shouldn't be an issue.
Nice bed in a tavern would be really awesome.
So after about 3 hours of travel, the rain has come and gone. It got heavy again once more, but then quickly dissipated, and now you're just dealing with a light drizzle. Again, cold. You all are drenched. If you're not waterproofed, you're shivering a bit from the cold. But up ahead, you see, finally, as you clear the lightly forested area that you're in now, a village appears. It's tucked into the heavier forest ahead. You see that there are figures moving casually between the buildings, or rushing quickly if they don't have a cloak, or if they're just moving from a short distance. A few of them are lingering under shingles or covered areas where they're just chatting idly. They all appear to be dressed plainly, but not poorly, and you can hear the laughter of children echoing off the walls and between the trees. From one of the several tall wooden watchtowers, you hear a call that goes out, and several pairs of curious eyes, not just from the tower, but from all the people that you can see in the distance, turn in your direction. And rather than being frightened or threatened or panicking, what you get is a wave and a smile, or a shout even of greeting from the tower as you come closer.
Oh, look, Sticks, they're happy to see us.
Perhaps you should announce his entrance.
I don't think he wants to be announced.
Perhaps you should introduce my entrance.
No, you'll probably do that on your own.
And I do.
But they can all see you from here, Sticks. There's no sense hiding.
It's a bit of a distance at this point.
I'm just going to look to Jolo and say, try not to draw attention. You don't know if the fat man wants people knowing we're here.
And I say, what? Thaumaturgy? What?
No.
The rain, the drizzle, it's all getting in my ears, just like all that soot and everything.
Silence that tongue or you might lose it.
I don't think I want to do that.
Oh, I hope he doesn't do that.
Oh, no.
As you make your way closer, scanning the area, you see narrow plots of farmland, gardens, just outside the perimeter of the thatch roofed houses that cluster around what looks like a small market near the center of the town. There you see at least a dozen townfolk that are milling about. All that you can see from outside is there are no walls around this village. And for it to be called a village, it's quite large. It looks more like a small town than it does a large village. You can see that there are banners flying, the symbols of Yorwick and Lioness, that fly proudly here, and obviously proclaiming the citizens' loyalty to king and country, while most prominently a golden dome rises from the center of town above every building, leaving little doubt where their faith lies. All of you would recognize this structure as a temple of Suna. As you get within the perimeter, you cross a small, short bridge over a narrow waterway that's moving fairly rapidly right now because of the rain, and over onto the other side. You find yourself among the thatch roofed houses, and you can smell the baked bread and pie that arouses your hunger, and the sound of playful tunes from an open doorway that draws your eye. There you see a young woman wearing a white apron, sweeping the steps in front of a doorway, and above that hangs a shingle depicting a dancing boar and the word tavern.
This might be it.
Are these going to be actual boars that are dancing, or is this a metaphor of some kind?
The name of the tavern, the Dancing Boar Tavern.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that this village town is a community of farmers and hunters and tradesfolk. As you walk into the perimeter of the city, passing underneath one of the guard towers, there are, I would say, more of a watchtower. Everyone smiles and waves. And a few people that from a distance see you begin to just slowly make their way in your direction.
Did
What do
we
you guys
come in
do?
over the top bridge or the bottom bridge?
The bottom bridge. And you can see that gold dome, the highest structure right there in the middle of the city. And right as you get in, the first blue building on the right is the Dancing Boar Tavern.
As we're walking, do we see a bulletin board of any notes? In my image, when you walk into a small town, there's always this big bulletin board to let you know what's going on.
Sure. Roll perception.
Been playing too many video games.
She's looking for the quest.
Yeah, quest board.
Are there any giant golden exclamation points over anyone's head?
No.
Somebody's standing there with a feather floating over. her.
Question mark over mine.
19.
You don't see any as you walk in, but you do see in the distance, over in the market area, which is basically surrounds the whole surrounding area in front of the Temple of Suna, is the marketplace. And there you see what looks like a billet board that has an overhang to keep it from getting drenched, but the papers that are moving on it look rather soggy. But this is a good distance away. With that roll, you were able to kind of spy it down the street amongst all the vendors, which right now there are few, considering the weather.
Mim's going to head over to the bulletin board and
Okay. All right. So that's a good distance. That's a good distance down. So you want to go to the center of the city. So you'll pass the tavern and then keep going into the center of the city? Okay.
yeah, I'm just going to turn to Nidus as I go past and say, I just want to see what's on the bulletin board.
All right. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm wondering why she's not telling me that she's going too.
Styx is going to head right into the tavern. He goes, I'll meet you in there.
I thought we were going to the tavern.
So
I'm
was
getting
I.
out of the rain.
Okay. All right. So the rest of you are heading into the tavern, and Nim is gonna walk down to take a look at the board. As you guys get close to the tavern, the young woman that is in the front, she's very pretty, blonde hair, green eyes, a pretty smile. She kind of just looks up at you demurely when you're about 30, 40 feet away, and she gets a shy smile on her face and then hurries inside. As you make your way up to the tavern, it's a few steps up to which is basically an elevated area just outside. There's no tables or anything set up out here. It's a very just narrow area just in front of the double doors that lead inside the tavern itself. You can feel the warmth coming from within even before you go through the doors, and you can see the warm light, kind of amber reflection through the windows, and you can hear the low voices of a few people speaking, but it doesn't sound like there's a crowd, and there's nobody else coming in or out once the young woman goes inside. So you guys are all heading in, led by Styx. Okay. And then as you get down to the marketplace, you're seeing maybe a dozen people that are lingering around. It looks like most of the little shops and vendors that are under canvas or half lean-to tent type things, with tables that are selling basically common wares like tools and pots and pans and that sort of thing. You don't see like anybody selling a suit of armor or any heavy weapons. The doors to the Temple of Suna are thrust open, and you can see them as they're facing, looking on the map there, toward the due south, actually, since you're coming kind of in from the east. And there again, you can see a few people milling in the entranceway. A couple of them in priestly robes, as others kind of are coming out, looking up at the sky, and then making their way off to their homes. A few of the people, about a dozen people that could see your main group come into the village, see from Nim you pass a few of them that look at you closely, but wave and smile as they make their way toward the tavern that the rest of your group has gone in, and you can kind of see others that are hesitantly and tentatively making their way toward the tavern as well. When you get to the board where the billet is, you see there are several notes that have been nailed up there, and then in different handwriting, different some on like cured leather, others on actual paper that's been tacked up there. You want to take a look at what's there?
I do.
So it's not going to require any kind of a roll because that would be ridiculous. You can easily see what's been posted. There's a lot of just very mundane type stuff, looking for some help out in the field, or somebody advertising cart repair, to fix your wheel, that sort of thing. There is one posting that you see that catches your eye. And this one seems to be more of an official posting from the mayor or the governor of the village, whomever it is that is the authority figure here. It's not signed, but just the way that it reads gives that impression. And what it says is basically a warning to all citizenry that strange creatures have been seen on the edges of the wilds for over the past several months, and that there have been instances of these creatures coming into villages at night to steal food and livestock, and worse. But it didn't go into what that worse might be. And then it just kind of abruptly ends.
So then we'll take a look at the notes. If there's nothing else that stands out, she'll head to the tavern as well.
Okay. Yeah, the only other thing that stood out was another kind of official-looking note that was advertising the tourneys in Lionsgate. But clearly that's passed. But no specific news about anything in Lionsgate. It's just as if it's been there for several days, maybe a week or so.
And just a quick look around the market. What type of things are they selling? I know you did mention that it's not like armor or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Like health potions, anything like that, just from a quick look?
Roll a perception.
12.
Okay. So it looks like it's about 3/4 empty. But the few that you do see around, aside for like a tool maker and somebody selling pots and pans, a vegetable vendor, nothing really catches your eye that, of specific interest.
A place where I can replenish my perfume?
Not here. You don't see anything. I mean, it could be a place within the village, but just as you kind of cast your gaze around, in the marketplace, nobody's selling perfume.
Okay.
And at this point, you're probably about an hour away from nightfall, and so it looks like everyone's pretty much packing up for the day, considering the weather and and the late hour that it's becoming.
Cool. I'm heading towards the tavern.
Okay. As you turn around and go back toward the tavern, you note that there are a couple more people that are just kind of noticing that there's a Sylvan elf in their midst, and you could again smile politely. And there's a couple of young women that look like they're They're we're going someplace with their mother, an older woman that's with them, and then they kind of fall into stride a few paces behind you. Inside the tavern, you see a common area that holds maybe a dozen tables. And there's a short bar with only 8 stools. The dark wood floors and the walls are illuminated by the lanterns that give it this warm, homey feeling. It's very clean. And the scent of roasted duck makes your mouth water. Upon entering, you see a heavyset man that greets you from behind the bar. Sit where you like. Friends, Marion will look after you. And the young blonde woman, holding a tray, again smiling demurely, gestures toward one of the empty tables. Aside from yourselves, there are only 2 other patrons in the tavern at the moment, and they're sitting at the bar quietly chatting with the bartender.
So Six still has his hood all the way, basically covering most of his face. He's trying to go unnoticed, and I guess as he walks in, whoever's in there's probably going to look at us, but I know he's going to look at 6-foot-something Hildy and the blue 7-foot Nihilus. So I'm not so worried about being seen.
And the 5'5" Jolo.
Yeah. So I'm going to go right to Miriam and say, I'd like a single room, please.
Okay. She has not approached. Are you not going to the table? Because she's right, kind of like she's got a tray, and it's got like some empty cups and plates on it. She was kind of heading back toward the kitchen area. Do you want to kind of intercept her? I mean, she's not moving that fast. So I mean, you can if you like.
Mention it to her while she's heading back.
She stops and just kind of looks at you, not fearfully, but just in that shy young woman way. Her eyes are really big and kind of peeking under your cowl. My father would be happy to help you with a room. And she won't quite look you in the eye as she speaks.
Right.
And she gestures over toward the man behind the counter.
And I will let everybody do what they want, and I'll go right to the bar.
Okay. The rest of you, are you guys going toward the table that she gestured to earlier, or?
I'd like to talk to her as well. I mean,
Okay.
Fix isn't the people person that I am.
All right. So there's a line of soap to talk to this girl.
Yeah.
And she's holding her tray and just desperately wants to go back to the kitchen.
Not a problem. I'm not even concerned about that. So I ask her, kind of loud, just maybe other people can hear. How's your turtle soup around here?
You know that the look that she gives Styx was curiosity, clearly. I mean, just passively you could see that she was clearly just curious. This fellow with this cloak, pulled up tight around over his head, speaking quietly to her, asking about a room. And then you walk boldly up right behind him, and her eyes kind of get even bigger as she has this look of almost shock in her face as you approach and speak to her. Oh, and you see that her eyes start to water. Can I have a moment, please? Please, just, and she starts to rush back toward the kitchen.
I don't even notice. I just continue on talking. Because as it happens, we're turtle hunters. And we've heard that there are big turtles around here.
She's like glancing back at you as she's going toward the kitchen, trying to be polite, but at the same time moving as quickly as she can, not to be completely rude.
Jolo,
So she's being a little rude.
Jolo, the turtle is days away in Argyllshire.
I know, but we've got to build our up a little bit.
Oh,
Besides, it's good to boast around here when nothing's...
Is the table they gestured for us anywhere near the fire?
Yes, it would be.
Hildy will sit on the fireside of the table
Okay.
and start warming up.
I mean, none of the tables are occupied. There are a few that are being cleaned up still, but only the bar has anyone sitting at it.
What is the populace of this village? I'm assuming it's mostly humans we've seen.
You've only seen humans at this point, and the 2 people sitting at the bar are also human. As far as you can tell, I mean, they look like short, from where you're standing, you can't tell that they're anything other than humans. But both of them also have their hoods either up or kind of half up, like partially covering their face. And you see that they're wet, as if they just recently came in, and they're just kind of chatting with the man behind the bar. And their backs are toward you, so they're not really, you can't really see their faces.
Nihilus won't pay them any heed, and he'll sit at the end of the bar and ask the large bartender just for a cup of ale or whatever he has.
Okay. He breaks off immediately from his conversation with the two at the bar, and they just kind of turn toward you, looking down the bar at you just a few feet away. And at that point, you realize that they're almost human. They both appear to be half-elves. And one's a male and one's a female. They're sitting close together, and so just passively you kind of get the couple impression, you know. It's not hard to figure that out. But they're not glaring at you. They're just looking at you curiously, and they both just nod in a serene
I'll
manner.
give them, in return, a respectful nod, and I'll ask the bartender to have two. I'll purchase two for them as well.
Okay. We don't get too many like you around here. Atlantean, what brings you to our quaint little village this dreary evening?
Might you be Rollo, my good sir?
I am. Have we met previously?
Can't say that I've had the pleasure, but a recent acquaintance had made mention of your fine establishment here, and he asked us to seek you out if we were in need of lodging or food once we got into town.
Well, my appreciation is eternal for one who would recommend our quaint little establishment. I do have rooms, and as you can smell the fragrance of the ducks that are cooking, they will be done shortly if you care for that. We also have various stews, and my daughter's made a wonderful goulash type meal with vegetables and fish that you may find more appealing to your taste. In any case, can I get you something to drink for the moment?
Should I be offended by that?
Unless an Atlantean would be hard pressed to be offended by almost anything a human would say, unless it was really derogatory or threatening.
It's a common misconception, my good sir. We don't only eat fish. In fact, I have several pounds left of venison that I caught just the other night. If you'd like some of these for your stores, I'd be happy to share. But a plate of that delicious duck would be most welcome.
Then you shall have it. And my apologies. We don't see Atlanteans. Well, it's been some time since we've had an Atlantean through here, and typically they don't stay very long, a night maybe, before they're off to whatever adventure that they're on to next. In any case, you're welcome here, and my apologies. And he moves off to get the drinks together.
No offense taken, and it seems as though our stay might be just as brief, as we are currently on our way to the Dormonts, looking to see if we can find something of interest that we've been hired to check out. We don't quite know our way, and we're hoping to get some direction in that to find which way to go heading again to the Dormonts.
Okay. He kind of stops. His back isn't completely toward you. He's just kind of angled as he's putting the drinks together for you, and then the two warm meads for the half-elves. When he just almost freezes as you speak the Dormonts. At the same time, you hear people coming in through the front door. At first it's like one or two, and then it's like 3 or 4 or 5, 6. Nim, you're still at this point in the marketplace, heading back toward here, or toward the tavern at this time. And he just slowly turns back to you, And out of the corner of your eye, you can see that the two half-elves are just staring, waiting, just witnessing this whole conversation for what might come next. Dormonts, you say? Why would you care to go to the Dormonts?
Am I nearby?
Yeah, you said you're at the bar. So at this point, he's having this conversation with the Atlantean, and you don't think he's trying to be rude, but he just hasn't gotten to you yet.
Well, Six, when he hears Nihilus say the Dormont, he's just going to give him like a dirty look. And he's going to put his head down again.
Okay.
And he's going to put some coins on the bar and wait for the bartender.
Now,
Okay.
you had said the Dormonts was basically the ruins of an ancient battle and stuff.
Well, it's the site of an ancient battle.
The site of, so, from what we know of this world, did Nihilus basically just say, "Hi, we're grave robbers"?
Potentially,
Okay.
in a naive way.
That's what I'm saying, not on purpose,
Yeah.
but is that what the
It
rest of the world
could potentially be taken that way. You would, yeah, that's might certainly be entering your mind at this point. I mean, it's ludicrous to even think that an Atlantean would be engaged in anything like that, but, stranger things have happened. Rollo doesn't seem to catch on to Styx as he turns slowly back toward Nihilus. Many strange happenings in the world today, and we hear tales of the dead rising from their graves. I've never seen anything like it myself, and quite frankly, I don't believe the tales are true. We're only a few miles from the Dormonts, and half a day at best. But it's expansive, and so much death has occurred in this place. Twice in our known history. It's not a place that most would actually, go for sightseeing or to linger, especially after dark. What is it what information can I provide you that might be helpful?
Well, we certainly don't plan to head there this evening. We would love to rent some rooms in your fine establishment, but come morning, we will likely head in that direction in hopes of finding one particular item that we've been tasked to seek out, nothing more, nothing less. But we simply were stopping through your fine town to see if we could get directions to at least the nearest point of the Dormonts, and we should be able to find our way from there.
So, you have the two figures that are half-elves sitting at this end of the bar, toward the left. And then you have a couple seats in between, and then Nihilus, and then Styx just to his right. Rollo right now standing in front of you. Nihilus, you're surprised that Rollo appears to begin to speak and then stops, and you see he just you see him nod, and then slowly turn back to gathering drinks. And Nihilus, you're surprised, and quite frankly, you are too, Styx. Nihilus, you feel a tap on your arm. And as you glance over to see who it is, the male half-elf is standing right next to you. Why don't we have a seat? Perhaps my companion and I can be of some help to you.
Sure. Lead the way.
Okay. So the female gets up and comes over. While all that is taking place, Nim is still coming down the street. More people have entered into the tavern. There's about a dozen in there now. Most of them are crowding around. While you guys are talking at the bar, most of them have been starting to crowd around where Jolo and Hildy are seated and they're sitting at tables nearby, and the young woman has come back out, and she's come over first to you, but standing a lot kind of far away, not like close to the table. It's like oddly, like maybe almost 10 feet from the table itself. Can I help you? Can I get you something to drink, or would you like food? We have goulash. We have duck.
Stew would be lovely,
Yes.
dear.
Something warm.
There's just one thing. I'm trying to do gluten free. Could you tell me what's in the goulash?
I don't know what that means, but we don't spit in any of the stew. I promise you.
Wow, it's better than the way I do it.
Oh,
I think I'll go with the duck. Seems like a safe choice.
we have several.
Several ducks.
Yes. That
No, I'll just
on
take
this-
one.
I have trouble smelling them here, and she see her eyes are starting to water up again. And drinks. She's just to hurry up.
Are you sad about something? I have this way of seeing into people. Is there something we can do for you?
As politely as she can, she just kind of turns her attention to Hildy.
Ales, dear.
Madam, yes, thank you. And she quickly rushes off.
What a strange woman.
You know you still stink.
All I smell is perfume, and it's not mine.
No one likes it. My perfume smells lovely. Nim loaned it to me. It was probably very expensive.
Let me tell you something. You don't seem to know much about religion, so I will tell you that I am a man of the people. And each bit of dirt and grime represents the hard work I am doing to show soon as
Does this hole in your arm from the troll's teeth represent hard work too?
it does. Plus, I can see my muscles. So that's the cool thing. I call them speed holes. Helps me
should-
run faster, too.
You should cover that up, dear.
Early on,
making the
after
women
you have
nervous.
sat down, and the young woman has gone quickly away, a man and a woman in their middle-aged, kind of graying, they look like farmers. They come up to your table, and the man begins, "Is this and then he looks at his wife, presumably the woman he's with, and they just kind of look at each other and back up, go to the chairs at the table next, and almost shouting over to you, with the other people that are nearby kind of crowded around, but just there's this very awkward distance between your table and everyone else, even if they've had to move their chairs away a little bit. And they seem to be just enduring it for whatever their curiosity is. And finally, the man kind of speaks up. "News from Lionsgate. Do you have any?"
Well, none good.
There's something wrong with the food here.
The food is fine.
I should have changed my order, maybe.
No, the food is just
Do you know if there's gluten in there?
why would anybody spit in food? I'll be a moment. He goes rushing out. The woman's like, "Oh dear, he's all just very, his palate is very sensitive, and well, do you have news from Lionsgate?"
Yes, dear. What would you like to know?
Good part of the day.
Yes.
All respect to you. And you hear everybody kind of mumbling, murmuring, the same thing.
Oh, I'm not special, dear. I'm just taller than you.
A lot of the glances going back over to where Nihilus is at the bar, the Atlantean that's in as well.
He's very special. He's from Atlantis.
Yes, we can see that. But what's happened in Lionsgate?
Oh, the queen was stolen by demons.
No. You hear this murmur ripple through the room.
This one next to me, he killed a demon, but then it exploded all over him, and that's why he smells like that. So it's good that he smells, because it's like a badge of his bravery, but it's bad because he stinks horribly.
I
Stench of demon. The stench of demon. They all begin to kind of crowd up a little bit closer. All of them just kind of bearing the stench as they get closer and closer. Their curiosity is overcoming them. That you have the stench of demon upon you. That is obviously a very surreal thing for anyone,
He's
especially
a light
these folks.
cleric.
It's not the stench of demon. It's also the stench of troll on me as well. Oh yes.
Oh, he killed a troll. He's
I am
very
a
brave.
troll killer. Perhaps the only one you will ever see today.
A great hero is among us.
No. Hero. Yes.
Mask
I
your
just
name,
do my
Pro
part.
Killer. Demon Slayer.
Very close. They almost know my name. It's Jolo the Pink Troll Killer.
Jozo, and you kind of hear your name echoed
Yeah.
around. Wow, it's amazing. Well, can we offer you? We'd be happy to clean your clothes for you, and get that stench off of there. I mean, it must be so unique to travel around smelling like
Please let them.
demons.
Oh, I couldn't possibly impose.
Oh no!
What would my friends think?
Be thankful.
Please come with me. And this older woman joins her, and they just kind of beckon for you to follow them into this back hallway.
Follow your followers, dear.
Can I do a little insight here? It's not usual for people to come up to me and say, "I would like to wash your clothing that you're currently wearing."
What would you like to insight?
What's that?
What would you like to insight?
I want to see if they look trustworthy or they're trying to do something bad. Like I'm going to wake up in a bathtub with a big scar on my
Without
stomach.
your organs.
Yeah, with no kidney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Message the local apothecary.
Yolo the
He'll notice that look on Nilas's face throughout their journey.
Is anyone going to assist me, or am I on my own? I'm on my own, I'm sure. I'm screwed. 16.
16, okay. Well, that's a lot better than average. They seem concerned and at the same time revolted, and at the same time just in awe that, from what you've told them, they seem to take it as you spoke it. They take every word of it as truth.
As it was.
And, they seem very sincere about wanting to help you clean up.
Okay, why not? It's time. It's the second shower scene of the campaign.
So they usher you toward the back, down a hallway, and then the wooden door that they open, and inside you can see what looks like a bathing area. And there is an open hearth that has boiling water on it. It's just lightly boiling over a small, embered fire, and then there's a few buckets of water that are nearby, and these are like very motherly type women that it seems like this is kind of maybe what they do, or they maybe have a lot of children, and this is not a big deal to them, but they immediately just start to help you out of these nasty clothes and usher you into the bathtub with the warm water and the soap and the suds, begin scrubbing your back and scrubbing your nails and your feet and all of that, helping to get all the stench off. And at first they're just almost overwhelmed by this set. One of them leaves with your clothing, and while the other one continues to bathe you. And this goes on for a while. As that's happening, Marion, the young woman who you'll find out at some point her name is Marion, comes in hesitantly, and she's got a tray and it's got an ale on it, and the old woman kind of meets her at the door and just takes the ale off the tray and just shoos her out, as she just kind of looks in curiously, because obviously she's heard from the crowd something of what you said earlier about demons and trolls and so what, and so she's got kind of a different perspective on her face, looking at you. That curiosity, but more intense, that you saw earlier when she was looking at Styx is now back. Not just that revulsion, that reviled sickness on her face when she was looking at you earlier. So
I do tend to have that effect on people.
That same look is on Nilas's face as well.
Well, you're not watching me in the bath, are you?
no, you're by yourself.
Just continually.
You're by yourself in there with these two older women that are helping you get fully cleaned up. That's going to take some time. So while Jolo is in there with his ale, getting replenished at his behest, and getting fully pampered and cleaned, the rest of the people around the table are just peppering you with questions, Hildy. They're being very, very polite, but very insistent. They're like, there's a shock that demons took the queen, and hearing it from you, they seem to take it seriously and as truth, versus just some farmer walking in with a rumor. And it's about that time that Nim, you come through the door, and your interaction with the two half elves is bringing you to a separate table. Nihilus, Styx, are you joining him or staying where you are?
Well, as he's walking away, I'm going to go, Nihilus, a minute. And I'm going to gently grab his arm and try to pull him close to me so I can speak to him, if he'll let me. And I guess I'll look up because he's about 2 feet taller than me, and I'll whisper so the others can't really hear me. I don't know if they'll be able to. And I'll say, your Atlantean lips move more than the waves in the ocean. Please show some discretion. Please don't tell them what we're doing here or where we're going. It could cause us more trouble than we need.
Well, Styx, if you have a better way for us to find our way, currently we have no directions on where to go. I'm just trying to find some path to take that will get us started.
Just please use some discretion. You should choose your words carefully.
Well, why don't you have a seat with me and we can have this conversation together?
And you'll see his hood's still down. He's like, he'll look around really quick and go, I need to go upstairs, clean up, and when I come back downstairs, I may look a little different than I do now. So just be aware. And then I'll go back to the bar and I'll ask for a room.
Okay. Rollo was happy to. It's one of his first questions, of course, seeing you interact with Nihilus is, are you all together? Are you and the 12th a day? I didn't notice. All the people gathered around Hildy and your aura in the dimmer light is kind of shining a little bit brighter than when you're outside. Are you all together? Will you need? I don't think I have enough rooms for all of you. Nim walks to the door, and his eyes kind of open up as he sees a full elf, Sylvan elf, walk through.
I'll say I would like a room for myself.
Okay.
I said I would like a room for myself if you have one. The rest may want a room together. We just traveled here together for safety.
Okay, it's just no trouble at all. I have a total of 3 rooms that are available. You can have the one, and the others will work it out. Maybe I can clear out a 4th room. We don't usually get this many visitors at one time. It'll be a silver per night.
I'll put a gold on the bar and say, and please have someone send up a couple buckets of water so I can clean up.
It would be my absolute joy to have something sent up to you. The duck, I think you mentioned?
I said buckets of water, several buckets of water.
Oh, water. Okay, so I got it. All right.
But a duck would be tasty too.
Did the guy who just said he didn't want any extra attention just pay 10 times more than the room cost?
Well, he's paying for us too, I assume.
And the water and the duck.
Copious amounts of alcohol. Then when you walk in and see the crowd around Hildy, Jolo being ushered back through a back door.
With the many women.
With two older women, and you see Styx, whispering to Nihilus for a moment, who's being led by these 2 individuals that you immediately recognize as half elves, and you just feel kind of your back just stiffens, and you just feel this rigid, not quite anger, it's not that you detest the idea, but you're definitely bothered by the sight of these 2 individuals, and then them in proximity of Nihilus, whom at this point is a companion, a traveling companion, a part of your team, a part of your group, being led to a table by these 2 that, in your mind, is the half elves are kind of an abomination. Not really accepted by Sylvan society, as you know. Humans may not know that so much. Nihilus might be somewhat aware of it, but kind of oblivious to it. But for you, it's very real. It's kind of a stigma that you'll have to decide, how severe it is to you. In any case, that's what you see as you come through the door.
So Nim will obviously, her eyes will search out Nihilus first, see what's happening, then look at Styx and see he's kind of making a move to go somewhere else. Look at Hildy, can't see Jolo. I think that she will head over to Nihilus more to kind of protect him from the half-elves than anything else, or just to see what's actually happening.
Okay.
And sit down quietly with him.
As they're all sitting down, and the two half-elves note that you have come in, their attention was mostly on Nihilus as they went to the table, the male and the female, and as they sit, and then you suddenly sit down with them, you see their backs stiffen as well. And they just stare, without saying a word, back at you, just suddenly sitting down at their table, uninvited, with, Nihilus sitting down, seemingly not perturbed by this. So you can probably gather just passively that they know that you two know each other, but it was completely unexpected.
She's with me.
And then we'll just say Tosh and sit quietly and look to Nihilus.
Friend of yours. The male is asking Nihilus.
A recent acquaintance, yes.
Kind of takes a deep breath and looks over at his companion. Well, this is Jacquelette. He gestures over to the female. She's a ranger of the forest. I am a druid of the enclave near Matu. My name is Orothian. We find it curious that you have interest in the Dormonts. As an Atlantean, for sure, he glances over at Nim. Rare so, Sylvan. But have such interest in the affairs of man that they might want to tour or goggle at this old ancient battlefield. But we know this area well. We're protectors of nature. Once again, looking over at Nim, around Remy. Is there something that you seek that we might be able to help you with, so that you don't find yourselves, especially you, pointedly looking at Nihilus, in a very dangerous situation that you weren't expecting?
Oh, no, they didn't.
Well, Jacquelette, well met.
She
I
nods.
hold rangers in high respect, and I feel it's only prudent that I let you know on the road here, only but a day or so west, we came across a troll of all things that seemed to have ambushed a cart of innocent passengers, and I feel that I need to let you know there may have been more. We didn't have time to search the area to see if the one was alone and it was a singular occurrence. But
Strange creatures
I
have been
feel-
seen at the edges of the wilds, all around. Your tale is not unusual. For us, we've mostly found the end result of such a meeting with one of these creatures. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you or disrespect you in any way.
It's quite all right. I was just gonna let you know that if you already didn't, that they need to be finished and fully vanquished with fire alone that will kill them.
We're familiar with the trolls. We have not run across one ourselves. Our biggest plight here in Remy, or not so much in the village itself, but it is certainly a danger that will find its way here once it gets hungrier, is a creature of flight. A dragon, but not a dragon. Something smaller, voracious. I believe it's expanding its hunting area. We found traces of its movements, its feeding patterns. It's indiscriminate. Old Brenner lives not far from here, just outside of Remy. Only a week ago, he saw the creature, hunting. Killed 3 of his sheep, carried 2 off after eating the 3. It's a fearful time in the Western Kingdoms. He keeps glancing over at Nem. And Nem, you know that Jacletta is just staring daggers into you. Her eyes have not left you at all while her companion has spoken. There's no good end for you going to the Dormonts, Atlantean. I would suggest that you find your amusement somewhere else.
Unfortunately, it's not of my own desire, amusement, or even knowledge that I head in that direction, but simply to find something I was told I'd know when I saw it. I don't come here by choice, and thus I hope to make a quick trip out of this. Your guidance would be very helpful.
His face is kind of darkening, reddening. Chicletta is mirroring that same look as her eyes dart away from Nem for a second to look back at Nihilus, and then back to Nem. You see her kind of tense up as if almost expecting that at any moment you're going to come to blows. Rothian leans forward. I will not guide grave robbers to the Dormonts. And I will not...
grave robbers.
Rabbit, you said the male is the druid, right?
Yes.
Do I see any signs of Suna or Eru on this half-elf?
He's wearing a cloak that's covering most of whatever he's wearing underneath. You do note that there are leather thongs that hold like feathers and leaves and small branches that just kind of move with him. There's probably 2 or 3 dozen little bones. The one thing that is sticking out on a leather thong around his neck is a circular, looks like a donut with a hole in the middle of it. And at first it appears like it's a stone, but as he moves, you see that there are colors that shimmer within it. The thong, is looped through the center of this donut-shaped stone, and it matches very similarly one that you might be familiar with for most of your life. And they're called druid stones, as you would know, and they are a source of seeing into the future. They believe that they are the source of magic, and they're not all alike. And so some of them have powers, some of them don't. But you're familiar with that object as that of a druid's talisman. You don't see specifically any representations like you would typically see on a priest. But that doesn't surprise you because your mother was the same way. She didn't carry holy symbols, at least not openly.
Rothian,
keep silence. So
Rothian, with all due respect that I hold for your Sylvan people, I ask that you show me the same. I couldn't care less to rob any graves of humans.
You kind of get the same reaction from them and Nem. And it's almost like they're all taken aback when you say that. Nem is probably thinking, you can guess whatever, but the 2 of them, their hackles definitely went up when you mentioned them as Sylvan.
He's not very good at the diplomacy.
See what happens when the face isn't here?
The face is getting washed, and the glowing
Not
one
just the
is
face,
surrounded
I'm
by. The glowing one is surrounded by a lot of people asking him questions about what happened in Lionsgate, and we'll get to that in a second. So it almost looks like you offended him, and her, and all of them, the whole damn table.
Yeah, he's got no reason to disrespect even a half elf. So he
No. But
see them in the
you
same
can tell
light.
they reacted in a way that you weren't expecting. We will tell you what you like to help you get to where you want to go. I don't understand it. But only because you're an Atlantean do I believe that your intentions are not what others might be in the Dormonts. But we'll not take you there. We'll not be a part of this. We will not weep over your corpses when they're found days or weeks from now.
Yikes.
But we will give you proper burial if we find you. But there's no guarantee that you'll ever be found. The creatures that are out, they tear one to pieces. All that left is shattered bone, stains on the grass.
That's never good.
Aside from this winged creature that you spoke of just now, is there something else within the Dormonts that we should be expecting to come across?
He looks very pointedly at Gicletta, and she nods slowly. He leans in real close. And then you'll have to roll a perception to see if you can understand what he says, as he whispers to Nihilus.
12.
12? You don't hear it. I'm sure he'll tell you later. But when he leans in real close to you, Nihilus, just barely perceptible, he says, "The undead are real. And they walk the Dormonts." And he just kind of slowly pulls back.
I don't expect you to tell falsehoods. I take that at your word. I have no belief in such tales. I may have to see for myself, but I have no reason to distrust you.
See for yourself, Atlantean. He gets up. Gicletta slowly getting up next to him. We will not
I'll
wait
grab
for
his
you.
arm.
You notice that as you grab his arm, he initially seems to try and jerk away, but he just stops. As if you get the impression that he allowed you to grab his arm. And as you do so, it's in such a way that you watch as the sleeve of his cloak comes up a bit, and you can see these blue tattoos that stretch all up and down his forearm. And he looks at you.
Rothian, my friend, I thank you for your consideration, for your warnings, and for your guidance. You mentioned this creature. You mentioned the word dragon. I've only heard of a great golden dragon that is seen over the seas south of Ys, but I thought those were just fairy tales aside from the one. How would you know that a dragon resides here so far inland?
His features kind of soften a bit when you mention that, and he kind of you get the slight, just passively the slight impression of a smile, very brief. The gold one flies over the western kingdoms from time to time, very rare. Be lucky to see, but this one is nothing like that. This is a small, savage beast that terrorizes, much smaller. But as easily as savage remorse, has a taste for human blood as well as beast. It seems very indiscriminate in terms of what it will consider a source of food. Gicletta here tells me that it is a creature that is expanding its territory. It's made wherever it's nesting, just miles away from Remy, its home, which puts all of our lives in danger. We'll do what we can to track it down and kill it. But I fear that you're leading all of your friends to an even more tragic death. May sooner guide you. And he starts to kind of pull away.
Yeah, I'm not holding on to him tightly. I'll let go as soon as I feel any resistance, and I'll give, as he mentioned that Jacletta was tracking them, I'll give her a very respectful nod and affirmation and let him go. He did mention that he would show us the way. He wouldn't guide us, but he'd tell us which way.
But he's leaving. So
Rofian, before we leave you, you mentioned it, at least pointing us in the direction of the Dormonts. That would be most helpful.
you'll be here in the morning, yes. I'll be
We
back.
will.
Or Jacletta, both. We'll tell you the way then. We'll tell you the safest way to get into the Dormonts. What you do after that is up to you. But there is a way to get there with less chance of danger. We can at least guide you that far. It's the only gift I can provide. Jacletta is
Thank
looking
you
at you, is like holding your gaze, you know, when you looked at her and kind of nodded knowingly. She's holding her gaze, and you can see that she smiles briefly as well at you. And then as they're both standing, as they get closer and prepare to leave, they very poignantly walk out without...
Nim does not stand for them when they get up to leave.
Yeah, then they don't even acknowledge you as they acknowledge Nim as they walk out the door. They leave the table.
The tattoos, the blue tattoos on the guy's arm, anything I recognize?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Make a history check.
Sorry. 9.
It looks familiar. It looks like a tattoo that an elf would wear. Aside from that, you didn't get a good enough look at it to know its meaning.
Oh, that half elf was wearing an elf tattoo.
In the meantime, we have Hildy over here just glowing with attention as a dozen and a half, 2 dozen townfolk are just very, and now Rolo's over there too, and his daughter. You've got the attention of everyone, which has left Nim and Nihilus and the 2 half-elves kind of on their own in this little island of solitude, but a hurricane just around you as they're asking all these questions about what happened and the young lion, the prince, is he still alive? What's the king going to do? The queen, how did they take her? What were the circumstances? All these details that they're just begging you to give them.
And Hildy is singing the praises of all of her companions and how Nim went up and stood next to the queen to face the demons, and how Styx ran over the dark one that's doesn't like a lot of attention, ran over and saved the prince from a certain death when the demon had thrown him. Jolo was single-handedly killing demons with his mighty mace, and Nihilus was felling them with arrows from across the length of the arena.
Okay.
Did Jolo the Pink Troll Killer do anything else?
No.
Ah,
And they're just like hanging on every word, and this, you know, and then with your tale, the who's and the ahs and the surprise and the shock and then the whole dramatic emotional effect that's going over their faces is very satisfying for you? Roll a performance.
I think a performance. Can I roll?
I'll give you advantage.
All right, good.
Because, I mean, these people are just eager to hear this tale.
That'd be an 11.
Okay. So, I mean, you're certainly not a bard inspired by bardic muse, but the information is what's important, and the telling of what they're hearing is just so striking that it's not so much the delivery of the tale, but the tale itself. So they're enraptured by what you're telling them, at least for the moment. It's so shocking.
So, for what it's worth, none of Hildy's tales of the glory of the arena or of the troll on the way here really feature her. She's just talking about what everybody else did, how great they are, what heroes they are, etc.
They don't even seem to pick up on that. So hungry they are for the details. Just listening to every word and begging for more. As that whole thing transpires and Styx is getting his meal and his the water that he requested and going about whatever he wants to do in his room.
I know.
Did you put a tie on the doorknob or?
Can't hear you, Styx.
No, I'll fill in the dialogue. Don't worry about it.
Styx is muted.
I'll be up there for as long as it takes me to bathe with the water. I'll ask for 2 bars of soap. And then I will use my disguise kit
Okay.
and make myself and then come down. So I don't know how long that will take. So
Okay. All right. So by the time the conversation finishes with Nihilus and Nim and they kind of listen in on not intruding necessarily right away, at least on what Hildy's grand story. It does go on for quite a while, and you guys get your food, and then finally Styx comes down, and Jolo reemerges. You've been given different clothing to wear for the moment, and you've been assured that your clothing will be washed and cleaned, and by the morning it'll be pressed and warm and ready for you to wear. Maybe not as good as new, as there seems to be some disagreement as to how effectively they're going to be able to get some of those stains out. But they give you this nice warm robe with an under tunic that reaches down to your knees, and then long stockings to wear, and these slipper type shoes, basically just to keep you warm. As you travel the halls of the tavern, and lead you back into the main room as everybody begins to gather. How are you coming down, Styx?
you want me to roll disguise?
Yeah. What is that, performance or sleight of hand?
That is a disguise kit, so I think it's just dexterity.
Okay.
Yeah. But do you want me to do it at advantage? Because I'm up there for a while trying to make sure it's right.
Do I want you to do it at advantage?
Oh, I am taking my time to do it. It's not like I'm in a rush. It's not like, it's up to you.
Of course it's up to me. I don't know this. I don't know that Styx, regardless of how much time he spends putting on his makeup, is necessarily adept at it yet. So we're just going to go with a regular roll.
And he did just lose an eye to it.
21 anyway, so.
Oh, look at you, bastard! I tried to make it hard on you. Okay, so what form do you come down?
I'm going to come down with the hood still up.
Okay.
But you're going to see a bright smile.
Like a Joker? Like, the Joker? The big
No, just very happy and
Okay.
not like when anybody else has seen me before. Then I'm going to throw the hood off like when everybody sees me. And I'm assuming I see Hildy still telling a story.
Yeah, you see everybody gather around eating food. You see Jolo in there dressed in this, as I described earlier, very not expected as you came down to see him kind of in a house coat and slippers.
I'm going to say,
very comfortable.
so have you been telling stories about your friend Styxelion?
Yes, dear. I told her. I was telling all of them, but I was especially telling her how you saved the prince.
Well, stick Sally on the mage does that. And I'll take a seat. And I'll order now.
Is he wearing the same armor and cloak?
Yep.
Just
But
his face
the
looks different?
cloak is draped across the symbol on my chest. So you can't see the symbol anymore.
Okay.
The
So
symbol of the dog.
do you? I mean, that was a good roll. So do you? Was it your plan to also disguise yourself in such a way that none of your companions would know who you were?
No. But I don't know. Was it that too good that maybe they...
I don't know. We'll see. You know what? We're going to go to break. And as we've all finally gathered back together in the tavern after our separate little adventures, and then we'll see what happens next. So we'll go ahead and take 10 minutes or so and grab something to drink and relax a second and be right back with you. See where this goes.
See you
in a bit.
soon.
All right, welcome back after a short break there. As we find our group gathered in the Dancing Boar Tavern, regaling the citizenry with probably slightly exaggerated alternative tales of what transpired in the arenas during the tourneys in Lionsgate. And so that's where we pick up. Styx has come down to join the group. Let's have everybody roll a perception to see if we recognize that it is, in fact, Styx that has joined the folk at the tavern.
I believe
I
my
wasted my nat 20.
That's your nat 20?
Well, I got a nat 20, but it was on a perception check, so boom.
my 16 recognizes him, I think.
Oh, Nihilus definitely recognizes you. What'd you roll, Nim?
11.
11. Oblivious. Jolo?
19. I know people.
Okay, yeah. I mean, as you come in, your eyes kind of lock because you're a little bit embarrassed. And
Wait, why am I embarrassed? I've got new threads.
You're in a moo-moo.
Those are new threads.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe you're proud. And
How many of them have been washed by women and given new clothing?
that's
and
true. You've
treated
been well pampered.
with ale and with duck, which is going to be coming soon because I ordered it.
Right. Oh, they would have brought the duck right to you
No,
right there. So
they only had
you were
3.
there-
I had one of them.
You were there at least an hour. So, because that's what it would have taken to really scrub that off you. You feel a little bit raw.
Would you say that I am pink? I've been spread pink.
Almost. Healthy, no. You don't. You're still. You're in the moment here with your storytelling, and don't quite recognize it as Styx as he joins the mass of people that are around you. And they've all been pretty respectful of not actually taking the seats at the table as Jolo comes in, and then someone will get up and allow him to sit down. And when Nim and Nihilus come over, they immediately jump up and allow them to sit down at your table, that as you're kind of almost holding court over this tavern full of people. What do you guys want to do?
Nihilus will head to he'll head to the bar, and continue eating or drinking if assuming he had his food already brought to him.
Yeah, it wouldn't have bothered you while you were talking to the half-elves. I think he probably would have recognized right away that was a pretty intense conversation going on, but he would have had it ready for you when you got back to the bars. He's kind of like half paying attention to you and half paying attention to Hildy, rushing back to the people around her to listen to more of the story before he comes back again. But eventually you get your food and your drink and so forth.
Well, I take it back. Sorry, I stay at the table because Nim is still there.
Oh, okay.
Get my food and drink, and then I'll ask Nim. So Nimalea, I couldn't help but notice the animosity between you. I remember hearing a long time ago that Sylvan and half Sylvan don't get along too well, but it seemed all too obvious between you folk.
Look, I don't know them from a bar of soap, but I do know I am self-aware enough to know that there's unconscious bias there, and I don't trust them, but then I don't trust humans either. Something I need to work on.
Well, who does really?
Once Jolo comes out in his moo-moo,
Wait, who said it was a moo-moo?
Hildy is going
I
to say,
thought it was sweatpants.
Look! It's Jolo! Yay, Jolo! Jolo, please tell them about everything you've done.
Oh, and the crowd begins to clap and then cheer for you as you walk in, kind of led by Hildy. And everything that she's told them leading up to this moment as you come in, you're like a rock star to these people.
I'm going to take my bowl of soup while they're now crowding around him and go sit over by Nim and Nihilus so I can eat in peace.
Okay. And then they just kind of respectfully move out of the way as you go over and just thank you profusely for this. And then they just move on they just almost just crowd over Jolo, asking, oh, I heard you did this. I heard you killed 20 demons all by yourself. Oh, it was amazing. Can we see the mace? Can we see the mace that you killed them with?
Oh, are they washing the mace too? Do I have the mace?
Yeah, you would have the mace nearby.
Please, I'm just like you, just a little bit braver, stronger, smarter, better looking, and so on. And I cast light on myself.
Why is it so clean? Why is the mace so clean if you kill all those demons?
Oh, the ladies washed it, but that's actually not my main weapon. And as the light continues to grow, coming out, emanating from my entire body.
Is it purple?
No. I don't want to show off. I just want to kind of reflect.
They're all just kind of backing up.
It's indigo.
He's going to blow up. He might explode.
I have the power of faith. I don't need such archaic weapon.
Relax, everyone. He's not going to explode.
Yes. Well, I may explode with excitement.
Oh.
Now that I've come to your wonderful village, and I'm able to share the wonderful stories that we reflected on. Yes.
Roll a persuasion.
With double advantage, right?
Just sneaking down in her chair.
I'll give you advantage because you've been hyped up. Hildy hyped you up.
Ooh, that's a lot better. Persuasion, you say? That is a dirty 20.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Kind of come back. You'll get a little bit closer to you again and asking more and more questions about your particular involvement. Basically, we just wanted to hear the whole thing again, but from your lips.
That's where most of my best sounds come from, by the way.
What is Styx doing
now?
Sorry. What is Styx doing?
Styx has ordered a thing of ale, and he's just drinking with a smile on his face.
Okay. Are you at the bar over by where Jolo is?
I assume they were all back at the table by that point.
Yeah, everybody but Jolo. Jolo's still with the crowd, and then everybody else is kind of migrated over to where, I guess Hildy is everybody else, is migrated over to where Nim and Nihilus is sitting.
And is it just our group in that corner?
Yeah, it's just Nihilus, Nim, and Hildy that are sitting in that table.
All right, then I will relax my grin and go, this is going to be aggravating.
It's you!
It's going to be aggravating to act like this for the next few days, but I figure it would be safer.
Stixie, I didn't recognize you.
Safer from what?
Well, by now you probably realize I want to avoid Yorick and
Who the fuck
Yorick.
are you?
What was that?
Nim has no idea who you are. You just walked up and started talking, and she's like, who the fuck are you?
See, Sylvan, it's me. It's Styx. And I'll say, by now you probably realize I want to avoid Yorick and the cudgel. This form should shut the eyes of that the cudgel may have in the city for the next few days. So please, for all our sake, say nothing of Styx till we leave this region.
What do you mean this form? It just looks like you wearing a stupid grin.
Some people aren't as perceptive as
He
you.
looks completely different, Nihilus.
Oh dear, I told them all about you.
Well, be sure to tell them that it was Styxalion the Mage.
Well,
I call over. No one's going to remember you. They're just listening to me. I continue on with my story.
Then talk it up, Jolo. I'll back you up.
Who are you to back me up? Got you, bro.
Well, regardless of your reasons for wanting to hide your face, I feel like this is a safe enough place to spend the night. I believe we have rooms that are comfortable and dry. In the morning, we should find at least a direction in towards the Dormonts that we were seeking, and we can head there as early as we want.
So Rolo tears himself away from the crowd, listening again to Jolo's remarks.
Well, I'm acting it out, right? I got the light. I've got the mace out.
Let's get a performance on that.
I mean, my big mouth.
Yeah, let's get a performance on your.
Advantage, you say?
I didn't hear him say that.
No.
I'll give you advantage only because they built you up.
Oh, I built myself up.
Oh no, Hildy spent a long time building you up.
Look at that. I got a pair of them. I got a nice pair.
Of what?
17 plus 3, that's 20. That's
Hey,
a
all right,
dirty
that's
20.
good. It's good. All right, so nice.
I'm not even hitting anyone with a mace, I bet, right?
Yeah. So you're doing a great job. Once again, twice again, 3 times again. Probably, I would guess, as much as Hildy exaggerated your part in the whole debacle that took place in the arena. You're probably exaggerating tenfold, but they're eating it up.
Is it
They're
really
eating it up.
exaggeration if I believe it, though?
It is.
Narcissism, maybe.
I mean,
We'll
don't
leave that
forget,
for others to decide, because all of these believe you.
don't forget, I'm not even in my armor. I'm in my fuzzy robe and bunny slippers, so my story has to compensate. Really, I'm doing it for the people.
And you did pass the clean mace test, so
I did.
that you were called out for. So
But in all fairness, I don't really use my mace, so another truth coming from Jolo. Patented truth.
So Rolo pulls himself away and comes over. Yes, we do have. I have been able to put together a total of 4 rooms. Your companion here, he took one earlier. I have 3 more. however you'd like to manage that is up to you. They're silver per night if you would like to take them for yourselves.
Rollo, my good man, I'll go ahead and pay for a room for myself. I'll pay for a room for Nimalea here, and I believe that the Tuatha Day and the priest over there can share a room.
I think I may have to jump in here.
You're busy talking.
He's very.
Oh no, I've got time for everybody.
No, you're like 30 feet away with a crowd of people around you.
I'll pay for Joel and my...
I see them talking, and I know what's happening. So I cancel my light bid. I'm not even concentrating anymore.
Why don't you roll an insight, see if you know what's happening?
Oh no, I
At
expected this.
disadvantage.
Jolo suddenly goes dark.
I forgot to pay the power bill or something. But no, I have the unique advantage, both myself as a player and as a light cleric. I can use thaumaturgy and just extend my voice over the din of
Okay.
everything. And I say, oh, this is a great tavern you have and a great hotel, but do you have smoking rooms? Because, one of the people here, please.
So Rolo and many others are startled by this booming voice that echoes throughout the tavern room, and you kind of feel a light hand on your shoulder. And as you look
This
over,
is Hildy. I don't know what I'm going to say.
no, it's one of the other older women that was bathing you earlier. She looks up at you just adoringly. Don't worry, you can stay at our house this evening.
Go.
Wow.
It turns
Once
out,
Jolo is speechless.
the two older women that were bathing and cleaning and taking care of your clothing are sisters.
I'm on good behavior. I'm not saying anything.
Priest and the Two Sisters. That was a movie once, I think.
I don't know.
What's a movie?
So,
I guess the rest of us go up to our rooms then.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not paying for it, I guess. Take that as you want.
Oh, you're paying.
Sticks will say, should we get a late start and hit the shops after they open?
Yeah, late start sounds good to me. Be a little tired.
So, Joe, you've joined the rest of the group at the other table, leaving this mass of people that you were in the midst of regaling with your tales, just with bated breath, waiting for your return.
They say that you should always want to leave them wanting more. So I learned that in the Book of Reason as well. So I'm just going to tell them adieu, and I'll have more stories for them. next time I see them.
Oh, come on! We'll buy you drinks!
Well, I wouldn't want to disappoint these two ladies.
We'll stay here and wait for you as long as you like, dear. We just can't wait to hear the stories as well. They sound so exciting. We missed some of it, didn't we?
I'll
Yes,
give you a
we did.
private show. Don't worry about that, ladies.
Oh, fantastic. So, tell us again, Jello. Tell us again. And the rest are
Suddenly the light goes on.
again crowding around Jello as the rest of you just kind of start to make your way up slowly
Damn it.
to the second floor.
Maybe we should get an early start and leave him.
Jolo begins his day severely tired, unable to walk.
3 levels of exhaustion.
Broken legs.
Or bow legs, at least.
So is everybody retired for the evening except for Jolo?
Yes.
Ravik, I do want to, in my room, just take out the stone rock that Hildy gave me that she got from the cart and just take a good look at it.
Okay, as you search around for it, you realize you can't find it.
I'm going to search again.
I bet Stick stole it.
Roll investigation.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, roll investigation.
7.
7? You think you remember, you look at the place you think you remember it was, and then you just,
No, I know exactly where I put it.
but with that 7, you're like, am I sure that I put it there? I mean, maybe I put it in this, but you look everywhere, and you don't find it.
You're not with me, Sticks. I'm in the room on my own.
Are you?
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, as sure as you think you are, it's probably a little disturbing that you can't find this object that you were sure that you had.
Okay.
What's everybody else doing?
Hildy's wringing out her wet clothes and hanging them by the window to dry
Okay,
before she goes to sleep.
all right.
Closed your shutters first, I hope.
Nope.
Ah. The poor people of this town, haven't they suffered enough?
Well, most of them are downstairs suffering right now.
Oh no, they're getting what they want. I'm giving the people what they demand.
Miles
telling a story.
is going to take out his stone as well and just examine it.
Okay.
What stone?
I don't know. It's like black and charred. And
Stix is examining his stones in his room.
And I don't know who's examining Jello stones, but it's happening.
Well, right now you're being plied with alcohol, lots and lots of alcohol, and the detailing is becoming even more grand, but more slurred, and the room is starting to spin, and but you're having a hell of a time. I mean, this is like the best time ever. Jolo is like is like he's preaching to his flock. At least that's how he sees it in his mind, and they're just adoring him as far as he knows. And
Wait, as far as he knows?
I mean, things are getting a bit fuzzy
Be realistic.
at this point. I mean, really fuzzy. The ladies who after a few hours, the ladies are that bathe you are starting to coax you. You don't even know their names, and they are starting to coax you. But the others in the tavern, the ones that are still there late, and not many have left, are continuing to try and get you to stay and tell more and more and more and drink more, and this is like probably one of the liveliest times that they've had in this village in anybody's memory.
so seeing the two older women walk off with Jolo, was Hildy jealous or what?
Hildy was already
No,
upstairs.
you guys are all upstairs. He's the only one down there with all of them. He's down there with the masses, his flock. The rest of you are up in your individual rooms.
But no, Hildy doesn't get jealous.
So, as the evening comes to an end, for some much later than others, Jolo, you are well into intoxication at this point, stumbling, and the two women have a heavier, stronger built man that's a little bit younger that helps to carry you, literally lifting you and carrying you. This big muscular plow-ridden arm, years and decades of working farms and so forth, lifting barrels and crates and all that, carrying you like a baby in his arms down the street with the mist, icy mist all around you, from the not quite rain, just the edge of rain. The cool wind whips in between the buildings, just your hair.
Plowing, you say?
A step behind the two women who are confidently leading you, with you, to their small little 2 or 3 room home just on the edge of the village, and take you inside. The man plops you down on somewhat of an older, well-used couch type furniture, while the two women rush around doing something. It's all just a blur to you.
What is
You have no idea what was really going on or where you're at or anything. But I mean,
That's normal for me.
you're in a great mood. I mean, you're just loving this whole night. This is like best night ever for Jolo.
so far?
And when the man leaves, you hear the distinct click of the latch and the turning of the lock. And then you hear the two old ladies giggling as they come toward you. It's the last thing you remember. Next morning.
How many hit points am I down?
many levels of exhaustion?
Next morning, the rest of you, having slept very, very well throughout the night, just the pitter patter of rain on the roof is very comforting, easily lulling you to sleep. Thinking about all the things that are ahead, but you've had an exhausting few days, and so it's easy to find your way to sleep in the comfort of this inn, which is warm and inviting, and the beds are very comfortable. They're very clean and taken care of. The linens, the sheets, the comforters, the blankets that they've given you, are all very, very warm, and you're treated with warm mead and pastries the next morning as the young woman is making her way to each one of your rooms with trays of these delectable foods that she's obviously been up very early baking in the morning. And as all this is going on, and you're enjoying your morning, coming together in the common room, a little while later, after you're cleaned up, washed, and fully starting to prepare for the day, realize that Joe is missing.
All right, guys, time to go.
You can't leave without your leader.
I hope he's not dead.
Let's forget the chops. Let's go. Hurry up.
He knows where we were going.
That duck we were eating before, that was really duck, right? Oh no!
I mean, looked like duck when you were, lucid.
Looks like duck, tastes like chicken.
Albatross.
So what are you guys going to do?
So, assuming that the four of us sort of arrive at the tavern common room at the same time, Niles will just let them know that the two half-elves promised to show us the way to the Dormonts until we find either of them. You're welcome to search the town for any supplies you might need.
Do you need something, Nidus?
I don't need anything in particular. I'm always on the lookout for some better equipment, but what I have now is serving me just fine.
Rollo, dear, are there any shops for adventurers to find things? We don't want to dilly-dally all over the town.
Well, we have many shops in our village. We're fortunate that we have a number of soldiers who enjoy vacationing in Remy. They bring their families or on retreat. And they are doing drills in the countryside. Not in the Dormonts, mind you, but nearby. They find it relaxing to come to the country for a week or so, especially the commanders and captains and those in the officer ranks. So yes, we do have quite a selection of shops, and the marketplace should be opening now that will have more of your everyday items. But nearby you'll find the armor, the fletcher, the bowyer. You'll find the weaponsmiths. You'll find the general goods stores. There's 3 of them here in Remy. If there's anything specific you're looking for, I'll do my best to point you in the right direction.
Oh, I want some of that fancy armor with the pieces of metal buttons all over it.
If you want metal armor...
No, it's too heavy. This is leather armor like this one.
Leather, yes.
Down. But it's got little metal studs. It's really... Oh.
He tries not to... he just tries to be polite and not gaze specifically in that spot.
I think Jolo would like it on me.
I see. Well, the leathersmiths would be perhaps the right place for you to acquaint yourself with. So, and he gives you directions. It's not too far away from the center of town where the market is.
Nihilus, do you want leather or plated?
I'm not much for heavy armor, but I've come to find that most of these human settlements don't have anything that fit me anyways, so I'm usually hard-pressed to find any suitable equipment. unless I'm on the Emerald Isle.
You just say this out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Overhearing this, Rollo kind of looks at you sympathetically and said, Brenor is a master at his work. He's got quite a reputation. He's been doing this for many, many decades. Although I'm sure he won't have anything that he could place you in immediately. Assuming that you're returning this way after your foray into whatever your business is in the Dormonts, perhaps he can have it ready for you in a few days if you asked him.
As delightful as Remy has been in accommodating to us, I'm not quite sure if our path will lead back here or not, Rollo.
I see.
Do we have
Some
another
ready-made plate armor?
There's a metalsmith. There's an armor smith that makes different types of plate, half plate, breastplates, all sort of things, as well as weapons that you could visit.
Well, Nim will definitely go visit the...
Okay, and it's actually close by to where the leatherworker is, because they're kind of all clustered together.
I'll ask Nihilus. I'll say, do you think we'll be heading a different way? We won't be heading back this way?
I'm not... What do I call you today? Are you Styx?
Is the bartender listening to this?
He's standing right there with you, so yeah.
Stick savvy on the mage. I told you.
Well, Styx, I believe that our paths might continue further along. I have no idea if we're going to return here or not. The Halfling mentioned a dire need in Argyllshire, which sounds interesting, but to be honest, I'd like to get out of here as soon as possible, and I don't have any plans to return myself.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Apparently, I offended him.
He said, "Screw it, I'm out."
He blew up.
It's not the right answer.
He's got a disguise on so you can't see him.
Just wipe that stupid grin off your face.
Just wait till he actually has a ring of invisibility or something like that. He's going to be intolerable. Except he'll be in studio, so he won't be able to just disappear. So you guys are going to head over to the leather worker and the armor smith to see what they have, and anywhere else you guys wanted to go?
Taylor?
There's clothing stores nearby of different scale that Rollo would be able to tell you about, and if you, of course, you see most of the people here wearing your typical commoner, not much finery in it because they do a lot of they're trade people, they work, they farm, etc. But there are occasions where you need a fancy dress or you need a nice outfit, and so there are stores for that. Plus, as he mentioned, with all the folk from Yorwick that come out to the country, as he calls it, to spend time here, they have some of those stores available. So if you're looking for clothing, you'll be able to find it. Boots and your typical general store type stuff is available as well, and we'll use the pricing that is either that we have set up for that. And as far as the armor is concerned, and Hildy's looking for studded leather.
Yes.
And Nim, what are you looking for specifically?
I'm looking for plate armor, so either half plate or full plate.
Okay, so
Not too sure I'm gonna.
you're wearing right now. You're wearing
Okay.
chain, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so plate's pretty expensive, but if you have the funds for it, the only thing with plate is that it's not magical. Assuming it's not magical, that you're gonna have to be fitted for it, and it's gonna take some time to do that. And then they have
we
to.
don't have time for that.
Then they have to, actually craft it around you. The studded leather is a little bit easier, and they could probably at least piecemeal something together for you right away if you wanted to upgrade in that regard. That's not such a hard thing to do. That they can get you into something that fits reasonably well for whoever wants leather or studded leather. So that's available at the regular pricing.
Okay.
So if Nim can't get plated armor, she's going to try and find some loose fitting pants for Jolo.
Okay. Easy enough to find at the clothing stores. And also, if you wanted to go with like a breastplate, that would be a lot easier to fit if you wanted that. So I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
like
something
that.
they can do for you. Basically, just adjusting the straps and everything. They can find something close enough that fits you without having to forge and beat it out and all of that.
Awesome.
So if that's an improvement for you, you can get your breastplate and studded leather is available, and any of the normal regular weapons you'll be able to find here. You know, mace, short sword, long sword, that sort of thing. Not in huge quantities, but you know they're available and ready to be sold.
So, Hildy will ask if there's any sort of discount for the heroes.
Okay, roll a persuasion.
17.
Okay, you can roll that at advantage. 17's good anyway, but
19.
okay. So that'll definitely get you a discount down to the cheap price, the cheap column.
Oh, cool. Hildy will buy studded leather.
Now,
So we'll stick.
if you
So we'll stick.
so sticks, you're able to find the clothing that you want. Anything that has to be manufactured or customized would probably take a couple of days. But any other normal type, like boots and backpacks and, clothing, you'll be able to find.
Do we know how far the Dormonts are?
30 miles. So,
About half a day.
right, on horseback, yep. A little over. And it's just, it's early morning right now. Not early, but probably around 9 o'clock.
I'll ask him if he can get it done in 2 days' time.
Okay. The things that you have on your list. Yeah. It's mostly modifications. Not like complete fabrications. So, they can get that done.
All right. Does he want?
Yeah, he wants payment
Half.
up front. No, he wants full payment right now.
Full?
Yep. You can negotiate that if you want.
Yeah, I want to negotiate that
Okay, all right.
because we don't come back this way.
Could be a while, huh?
I'm going to use a luck point on that too,
Okay.
and that's much better. What am I doing? Persuasion?
Yes.
18.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough to convince him to take a deposit of half.
All right.
Since we're on the subject, Nihilus also would want some studded leather. Is that something he can just piggyback on with what Hildy did, or do you want to go through that?
Yeah, that's tough. I'm going to give on that one because it's just, I'm going to say that they'll be able to get it done for you. It'll put it into the expensive column, but if you want to negotiate it, considering you are an Atlantean and you're getting a lot of interest here, you brought some great tales.
Yes,
Got
I would
some
like
great
to
tales
negotiate.
too.
Nim
Hey.
will not buy the breastplate, just by the way.
Okay.
That dice is treating me good, just like episode 1, another nat 20.
Okay, all right, so that'll put it down to the normal price. You know what, Italy, Nat 20, I'll say it's down to the cheap price.
36.
They're just absolutely enamored by you, and even with the extra material and everything else, they go to work on it, gets all at, with Hildy and you, they get the entire staff working on just the two of you, and within a couple hours, they have a working set.
Six is
Does that
pointing at
include my set
himself.
too?
What's that?
Does that include my set too?
Nobody knows who you are.
Can I persuade them for my set?
You can try, but they are completely focused on the Twatha Day and the Atlantean. The regular old human that walks in with the big smile is going to have to roll a disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Uh-oh. Well, I rolled a 9 on that first one. All right, yeah, 9, because my second roll's there.
Yeah, so they just kind of like, they're way too interested in working with the your other two companions that are much more unusual.
Once Hildy's
I
decked out,
can't go shopping with these guys.
once Hildy's decked out, she's going to head back to the tavern to wait for Jolo.
Okay, now that's just the leather stuff, so if you wanted, the clothing is different, so that's just the leather stuff.
No, I already got my half down, so I'm
Okay, all right. Okay, so as you guys are doing this, by the time you guys all get, and this takes a couple hours to get all this stuff done, to go out and find what you want and buy it, returning to the tavern, the Dancing Board Tavern, it's about noon, and when you do arrive back, you see that the two half-elves are sitting at a table waiting on you. They look annoyed, but they brighten as soon as you come in, Nihilus, and then kind of darken as Nim comes in behind you. But they both stand.
I like that.
Kaisho, well met, Rothian and Checkletta.
Kaisho.
See you again.
Check.
Checkletta, I said it right.
Has Jolo come back yet?
No.
All right.
Not the next 8 episodes.
We are in a bit of a hurry. If you could just show us the way now, we much appreciate it.
If you're ready to leave, we'll be glad to guide you to the edge of the forest, and from there, we will take you along the path that would lead us west deeper into the forest, about halfway to the Dormonts. From there, there is an unused traveling path that only Dickley and I are familiar with, that we will send you down. All you have to do is follow the signs that we give you, but you'll be on your own at that point, as we have other things that we must attend to, and our responsibility ends once we know that you're safely through the forest and on the path to where you want to go.
Can I do an insight check?
Sure.
Yeah,
On
I was
what?
gonna do the same.
What are you going to insight?
Well, because they use the same terminology that the Fat Man did of follow the signs, so I want to see if, I don't know, they looked different as they said that. I mean, I don't know, I want to do an insight check.
I just wanted to see if they were guiding us down a safe path or if it's a trap.
Okay, roll your insight checks.
Wow, that dice, I love it.
15.
Okay.
23.
So Six, as far as you can tell, they're annoyed. You can tell that they're obviously annoyed. That you could have told passively, and they keep just reluctantly, their eyes swing over to Nim every once in a while. They are the furthest distance they can be from Nim as they're speaking to you without being completely rude, but never actually speaking to her or facing her. So that's kind of a baseline. But aside from that, you pick up that they just want to get this over with, is your impression. And then for Nihilus, I guess you're trying to make a connection between them and the Fat Man, and if you can eke out anything that anything that might connect them and maybe lend to that impression a little bit. Would you roll?
23.
23.
You don't see a direct connection anyway. You're not. Again, everything that I just explained to Styx, you kind of get that. But beyond that, you see a great concern. They seem very, very concerned about your choice, and not just because of what you're doing, but because of who you are. And but you don't pick up any kind of specific connection.
So I recall that the fat man had told us once we get to the Dormonts to follow the signs and we'll see.
Right.
And then when they just said, follow the signs that we give you, he probably would have just looking at them a little harder, and once they're done, he'll ask point blank, do you know of the fat man?
They look at each other, and then he turns back to you and just kind of has this confused look on his face. Another one of your companions.
No, just someone we met along the road.
Did Styx say something? Styx is going to look at Nihilus and say, lips like waves, lips like waves. And then he's going to look to the two elves and say, you seem a little irritated to be guiding us.
Half elves.
You seem a little
Give you a dark
irritated
look.
to be guiding us. Why would you want to help us if it seems that you don't even want to?
Human, we could give a wit about helping you. We're only here because our Atlantean friend has asked us to help guide him safely to the Dormonts. As we explained to him earlier, what happens after that, we can't be responsible for. As a matter of fact, we warned him that he's leading you all to your deaths. There's no secret in that. We'll be picking over your bones within a week, sadly, but we will not cry for your deaths.
Okay,
But
do
we
an
will
insight.
bury you properly.
What are you inciting?
Your insight.
He doesn't
Okay.
like
What, are you inciting that they're...
They're doing it for Nihilus.
Oh, okay,
Just
got it.
Natural 20.
Wow. Yeah, you get the impression that most certainly this is all about their... I wouldn't call it a... It's more of a matter of respect. And you also get the impression that maybe they're trying to help him to spite Nim.
I'm going to say to them, well, I'm going to have this big smile that Styx Alien has and say, well, I thank you. Not all of my kind and others would do as you do. And we appreciate it.
They just stare back at you. They don't nod. They don't smile. Nothing. Then they just look over at Nihilus. The woman hasn't said much at this point. The night before or now, and she remains silent by his side. But the druid, kind of taking the lead, and has done so. But shall we go then? Now, while the day is young.
I'm ready to depart.
At this point, you'll be lucky to arrive at the Dormonts by nightfall.
Nihilus, will we be waiting for Jolo?
Is that your
Me too?
friend?
He's the loud one.
We will take you to him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They kind of look over at Nim, but a little bit surprised. You get a brief nod, and then they lead you out the front door. The room is, will you be? Should I keep your rooms for another night, or no? Maybe not tonight, but
We'll probably be dead by nightfall, Rolo.
I hope that's not the case.
Me too. Ta-ta!
You see his daughter just kind of looking out from behind. This is a big frame man, and she just kind of looks out from behind. at the Atlantean, at the Elf, at the Twatha Day. You get kind of a smile from her, but she's also clearly very afraid.
Rollo, we'll be sure to tell any passersby along our travels to seek you out and the warm host of the Dancing Boar here in the beautiful town of Remy.
May sooner guide you.
And Neve. Don't forget Neve. Yay, Neve.
Of course.
I'm praying now, Nihilus. Nim says it makes her happy, so I thought I would try it. It doesn't really do anything for me, but sometimes when I pray too hard, this hand hurts, I think, if I smack it just right. Yay, Neve! Yes, see, right there. Praying hurts right there. I think I might have arthritis. I don't know. I'm not good at praying yet.
So you follow the two half-elves out?
Yep.
Okay. So it leads you down the road, up toward the center of the market, and then off toward the kind of the southwest, which on the map is this way. I'll ping it. I think I can ping it. Yeah. There we go.
Ping it.
Up this road here.
Okay.
Okay. And then they take you down through a secondary road to this little house, toward this little house here. And you can see that there is a penned area. And within that penned area, there's some goats, there's a donkey, and then you have the house itself. But in the back part, they take you around toward the back. And also within this, connected to the pen, is what looks like a chicken coop. As you see, there are chickens that are coming out of it. And, you know, they're just kind of clucking, and roosters and so forth is moving around. But rather than take you toward the house, they just stop. And
Do they also have horses, Ravik?
there's no horses in this pen. No, it's not that. It's a rather small pen.
No, but we've got.
Oh, your horses. Yeah.
don't we?
Did you want to take? Did you take them from the tavern then with you? Assuming that you're heading off immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So you have your horses with you. But when the druid points over toward the chicken coop, it takes you a moment as your eyes adjust to the darkness. Just within, you see the bottom halves of two slippered feet.
In the chicken.
Now, about that time, the door opens to the little house nearby, and you see one of the older women and the shadow of her sister behind her, and she's got a bundle in her hand, and she takes it and she throws it out. And she says, "Take your food! Mitchie, he's rude! He's a rude, disgusting little man!
Yeah.
Take him and never return!" And he slams the door. And you see his white clothing just kind of sinking in the mud outside as it's been raining. It was perfectly pressed and cleaned, and much of the pink has been taken out of it. And now, as it sinks into the mud, dirtying once again.
Time to introduce Joe the Brown.
Hildy will go into the pen and
You hear,
she will boot him in the butt. Jolo! Jolo, it's time to wake up! What?
you see feathers just flying everywhere. As he just kind of struggles a little bit, not realizing where he is in the darkness, and the smell, the stench of it. I mean, he's got this beautiful lounge wardrobe that he was wearing earlier is now just covered in chicken poop.
My leisure suit.
And
Joe,
feathers.
while you're in there, can you at least get us some breakfast?
I pick up the largest egg I can find. My aim's not so good, but I launch that thing.
Make a roll.
Athletics?
No, you're making an attack roll. You're with an improvised weapon. So if you have a dexterity bonus, roll a d20 and add your dexterity.
Proficient with egg?
I don't think so. Only if it's on his face.
Who at?
4 plus 4. Look at that.
He goes swinging over way wide right. Not even
Food for
close.
you. Sorry, man. Tried.
limp-wristed throw.
There were some lovely.
I will
pastries
I will
at the
pull
tavern.
out the soap I stole from the hotel and throw it to him.
The best part of this is I can clearly picture this better than anything in this campaign so far.
Yeah, he's a mess, and the clothing is just sitting there in the mud. But I mean, it's got maybe about 25% of it is clean. What do you do, Jolo?
This was all just a misunderstanding. I told them I had a kink in my back, and then I asked if they had any kinks too. And all of a sudden, bam! Into the chicken's head. Well,
Is that how you remember it?
that's exactly how I remember it. It's bright as day. But I don't know. But clearly, I wanna switch into my old uniform. I don't think I can do battle in pink bunny slippers. Unfortunately.
Well, it's as now mud-soaked as it is, it is a comfort to return to.
I will leave.
I brought your horse, dear.
No, thank you. But I will leave the bunny slippers and everything else as something to remember me by to those two fine ladies.
The door opens once more.
You changing right in
I'm
front of us?
sorry for my friend.
Well, I mean, maybe I'll go around the corner so you can't see so someone can't see a little too well. That's fine.
As you're gathering up your clothing, the door opens once more, and the enraged features of one of the sisters makes an appearance, and she's got something crumpled up in her hand, and she throws it out. This was in one of the pockets! And she throws out a wadded up, crumpled up piece of paper, and boom, 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 it lands just short of the mud, where you're kind of bent over picking up the clothing. She slams the door once again.
Well, I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll take the piece of paper.
Who did it land closest to?
To Jolo, where he is there, picking up his clothing.
Presumably, unlike my dignity, I can get this paper back at least.
You can reach over and grab it if you like.
The
It's a
paper,
photo page
yeah.
from the Book of Reason.
Oh, I hope not. That's expensive. Okay, so I'll take that and I'll just kind of stick that in the pocket of my clothes that I'm changing into or about to change into, as I turn the corner to preserve my modesty and my reputation, which has not been sullied in the slightest.
You're in
this-
the middle of a town. Look at the map.
What are the half-elves doing as all of this is happening?
Oh, they've got the biggest smirks on their face. Both of them just standing next to each other. Jiggly is kind of giggling a little bit. The other one's trying to maintain more of a,
But I'm a human.
control. But they definitely, you can see there's a little sympathy mixed with humor at the same time. It's a terrible juxtaposition of races that they have to deal with.
Should we conduct a poll and see if any of us have sympathy?
We should.
I gave you an egg.
Were those more followers of yours, Jolo?
I don't know. I mean, those sisters didn't come after me. I don't know. But let's not talk about this anymore. I'm just gonna get changed.
So you find a dark corner to change in quickly into now muddied clothing, but you're back in your regular outfit, such as it is, and you have your crumpled piece of paper, and they brought your belongings along with your horse with them from the tavern.
So Jello the rose, Jello the rosé. I don't know. Can he read? Can I read the piece of paper?
Yeah.
Kind of to myself, not sharing necessarily.
Okay, well, if you want it to be secret, then I will have to message you.
I don't have my glasses, but I'll just kind of squint at this very
How
questionable.
far away is he?
Well, he's kind of around the corner. He's trying to keep out of sight from, as he's changing.
Yeah. Modesty.
Okay,
Let's see.
there you go.
There you go.
That's what the message says. He's really quiet for a moment.
I have been betrayed.
Well,
Does he say that out loud?
I mean, he's
So-
presumably around the corner still getting dressed.
I turned to Nim. Nim, I've got to tell you something. You're the one person I can trust.
You mean you come out from around the corner and say that to her?
Or maybe I shout and just ask her to come. She has no idea what state I'm in. Just come on over. I need to tell you something.
Are you dressed?
Sure.
I stole it.
Yeah. I've got my scale armor on and everything. I'm decent. For me.
Nim goes around the corner.
Okay.
I knew we couldn't trust Sammy. That wasn't even his real name.
What was his real name?
Hammy. It says so on this note.
What does the note say?
I'm terribly sorry, my friends. Of course, he told this to me because I'm the most respected of the friends. But my town is in a bit of pickle with this monstrous turtle gobbling up all our fisher folk. So I took the liberty of temporarily taking possession of a few of your items. Just to ensure you don't get too distracted on the way to Argyllshire. I promise to return every ounce of it once the turtle is dead. Again, sorry. Your friend for life, Hammy. Can you believe we were dealing with a thief? Treating him as one of our own? Sharing our meat and our ale with him? And vegetables?
If only someone had said, I don't trust him. Oh, wait. I did.
Hey, Rabbit. When I split off from Hammy, I checked all my things to see if I had everything on me.
Yeah. Just in all fairness, just so everybody knows, what
My freaking rock! He's got my rock!
No, that's Nihilus that has your rock.
Nim is missing a charge stone. Jolo, as he will find out as he looks through his things, is missing his magnifying glass and his holy symbol.
Wait, my holy symbol was on my shield.
No, the one that's not the one on your shield, but just a regular holy, the one that you either have around your neck or however you didn't you have like another effigy of Suna. I thought it's just not the one that was on the shield itself, but you have it separately listed in your inventory.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, you did.
yeah, so that's the one that. And then Nihilus, you're missing the silver tourney medallion.
He's like, I don't care.
So
Hey,
I mean,
that was
you
worth a
go?
chunk of change.
so that's
Nothing for me.
Did he frisk Hildy to find anything?
those are the things that you note that you're missing from, as you do a quick inventory of your stuff. Those are the things that seem to be missing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nim. I think that rock suited you.
Thanks, Hildy. I was looking for it last night and couldn't find it, so...
Oh, that's because Hammy stole it.
And it's important I get it back.
Nim, I still think you rock.
I think I'm gonna kill Hammy when I see him again.
You hugged him. Goodbye. He's like, we're so warm and
He said he was our
Probably
friend.
slipped it out of my bag as I was hacking him.
Sticks will say, as he's sharpening a blade, he'll have the smile of Sticks Alley on and go, can't trust those rogues. There's only one way to deal with them.
Oh, I hope we don't have to eat it. Do the elves eat people? Is that still a thing you do?
eat him.
Never eaten a person in my life.
All right.
Shall we make our way to the Dormonts?
Yes.
Julie, you smell much better.
Thanks.
So the two half elves are just watching this whole scene unfold and just amused that you guys just suddenly go, ripping through all your inventory to see what you have left after Jolo and Nim advise you of what the note was in the note. Definitely enjoying this whole thing going on, as bizarre as it probably seems to them. But finally, you head out of town and on your horses, and they have their horses as well, and onto a narrow pathway that leads into the forest. A few hours down the road, you have to dismount because the forest has gotten thick enough that it is impossible to ride without possibly injuring your horse. the two half-elves take you to a place where there's a bit of an elevation off to the left that has kind of a sudden drop. But it's not too far. It's hard to tell. It's just covered by vegetation, and then the path continues on around to the north and west. Jekyll walks over and gently pulls over the vines and plants, and shows you that there is a secondary trail that's very, very faint that leads down, and then after the elevation falls a bit, you're going to be hard pressed to get your horses through, but you think you can make it. And then off into the darkness of the forest beyond. As this happens, there's suddenly a cold feeling in the air, like icy cold, more icy cold than, this has been a pretty nice day, although you've been under the cover of the trees for most of the day that you've been traveling, and it's not warm to begin with. This is kind of an icy chill that you feel from the inside. It doesn't feel normal. And both of the half-elves just kind of like stop and almost go into defensive positions as they're looking around. Joel, you need to make a charisma save.
A charisma save? I kind of need to make a charisma save.
Oh,
10?
10. Okay. You see Jolo, again, you're all dismounted, standing with the rest of you. Suddenly you see his back arch, his arms go wide, and then the entirety of his eyes just go black. And as he turns to you, matching the mud in his mustache and the long dark hair, and as he slowly turns, the two half-elves see this and they're like, nope. And they just turn around and they start back the way they came. They're just out of here. They don't wait, they don't do anything. They don't need an explanation, they're just out.
Am I doing thaumaturgy with my eyes and that's what happened? Oh.
As Joe turns to the rest of the group, you hear the galloping of the moving quickly through the brush of the half-elves going back the way they came. Jello kind of stares just blankly at the rest of you. This way. And he starts to walk slowly down the path, leading down through the vegetation and into the darkness below.
The path that Levy's told us to go.
And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
is that one of the signs we were told to
I
look
think
for?
we should just let him go.
I think we should kill him.
Seriously, this is our chance.
Got a good reason now.
There was a time. This is it.
That guy is just so old.
You could have left him in the chicken coop.
Much.
We should have left him in the chicken coop. That would be so much better.
He has so many opportunities to lose them.
Did it sound like his voice, or was it like a different voice?
It didn't sound like his voice. It sounded very otherworldly. It sounded very,
Manly.
Hey.
no. You couldn't pick up distinction of male, female, anything like it. It was just very kind of a hoarse, very almost whispered as it spoke, and it was very quick.
We might grow to like this Jolo better.
I already do.
Joe of the Dark. Joe of the Pupilless.
I told you guys there's going to be Jolo the Black.
Be careful what you wish for.
That was great. That was awesome.
That was great.
Yay us.
Yeah. Good job, everyone. Thank you. Hope to see you all next time when we say where Jolo leads us or where he gets dumped. Either way, it can happen.
Should I start working on another miniature for him?
Yeah, really.
Do you have a space?
Ghost.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.